broken ankle, quarantined, job change, house remodeling, house selling. This thing's about to go. New house, you kind of name, new job, you name it. Things have happened to me in the past 4 or 5 months. That's why I've been away. But things are starting to ease up and calm down just a bit. So now I can come back here with you, my fine fragrance folks at home or wherever you may be. And today we're going to be talking about 10 fragrances that I've been wearing while I've been away. Stay tuned. What's going on, everybody? My name is Joshua, as always, and this is your channel, my channel. This is our channel, Scentsense. To all you fine folks who are still subscribed and didn't jump off the bandwagon, we're over 10,000 strong now, and for that I thank you. To all you new people who may be stumbling upon the channel for the very first time, especially since I'm just now uploading again, I appreciate you for stopping by. Do consider going ahead and subscribing and hitting that notification bell. That way when my videos come out, you'll be the very first to know. Now that we're done with that, let's just jump right into it. Starting things off in no particular order, Acqua di Gio Profundo. Acqua di Gio Profundo is the latest release from Giorgio Armani for the Acqua di Gio line. This one is a little different, and it's the main reason why I've been wearing it. I've really been enjoying it. It's a new change of pace. It opens up like you've been wearing the original, like you've been wearing any of the other flankers, because they smell a lot alike. But this one's a little more earthy. This is a little greener. This is a little more vibrant in that nature. It's less aquatic. It's still aquatic, just less aquatic. As you can see, I got the little Mighty Max bottle. It's quite small, but that's what I've been doing, folks. I do suggest it. My buddy Justin Copeland over at Stay Fresh Productions, he will tell you that this is the way to go. Yes, it's not as cost effective per milliliter, but if you are a collector and you have 30, 40, 50 or more fragrances, you're never gonna burn through a whole bottle, or you shouldn't, because that means you're not wearing everything you have, and this is a much better alternative. So my suggestion to you would be to start buying 30 and 50 milliliter bottles when available. And while you're at it, if you're into looking for a new fragrance and you're looking for something that harkens to something you know, but has a different twist, a different new appeal, go ahead and check out Acqua di Gio's Profundo. So being that I've been stuck at home for the majority of the time, even quarantined, stuck in a hotel and my parents' amazing RV for like 12 days, I had time to really ponder fragrances and play around with fragrances. Once I got around people again, I decided I wanted to wear fragrances that they don't know about, the average person doesn't know about, and I wanted to get their, unsolicited responses. And when it comes to fragrance community, people there automatically have a feeling or an objection to a fragrance just by the name or who makes it, not just the smell before they even smell it. So I decided to wear this bad boy, and I have to tell you, every person who smelled it loved it, and every woman who smelled it thought it was really awesome. We'll leave it at that. From the house of Fragrance One and Jeremy Fragrance, Date for Men. I know what you're thinking. Why are you wearing a date night fragrance intended for date night with someone other than your wife? Well, I just wanted to know what people thought about the fragrance, not the name. And I went ahead and wore it around my brother-in-law, some friends of ours, and their significant others. And every woman thought it was drop dead sexy. And I sprayed it on every guy, and each woman had an amazing response to their significant other. I sprayed many other fragrances on them, the Dior Sauvages, the Versace Dylan Blues, a lot of other niches, and this one had the most positive response. So I have to say that if you're looking for something that's going to get compliments, that is mass appealing, if that's the most important thing to you, and that's really why you want to wear a fragrance, this is a easy pickup. So if you're looking for something sexy and seductive that will work in the cooler weather, especially this time of year, rocking a hoodie, maybe a button down, cool weather, easily Date Night for Men from Fragrance One. Following up that trend of sexy, more thick, more cold weather fragrances, I would have to say that this is one that I probably shouldn't have been wearing in the summer months, let alone the early fall in Louisiana, but I have to say I just love it. And if it's cool enough and it's cold enough to wear a hoodie, I think it's okay to wear this. a plumalicious deliciousness fragrance that is often overlooked from the house of Tom Ford in the private line. Tom Ford's Plum Japonais. This is suave, debonair, plum deliciousness in a bottle. If you like oud wood or any of the other Tom Ford private line fragrances, Tobacco Vanille, Tuscan Leather, this is something that should be in that collection. If you own those fragrances and you're looking for another one to add to your line of bottles that look just like this is an easy pickup. I don't normally suggest things that you haven't smelled, but it's 2020, it's Corona, and it's damn near impossible to go try fragrances out without feeling like you're gonna catch a disease. So go ahead, if you can, get some samples online. Maybe somebody in the fragrance community has a fragrance sample you could buy, or buy it from one of the reputable websites that you know about. And if you don't, I'll try to leave some in the description below. But go ahead and check this bad boy out from the house of Tom Ford, Plum Japonais. So the next fragrance is definitely fitting for the warmer months. This is something that I'm gonna miss wearing, especially in fall and in the winter months. This is something that I bought from Perfumology.com. It's a very great website for all your niche and indie fragrances, especially ones that are not the, constant normal ones you're used to, the Creeds, the Bonds, those like that. Ones that you want to get a little bit more off the beaten path. This one right here is often referred to as a lime-centric version of Aventus. I don't quite pick that up. I think that this is not nearly as creamy as Aventus. I think this is much brighter. This is a little bit sharper, but this is probably, in my opinion, the best release of summer 2020 from the house of Goldfield and Banks, Bohemian Lime. So I bought this bad boy for my buddy Near Guy. I have to say, without a question, oh, it's so refreshing. It's so awesome. It's bright, yet slightly sharp. It's zesty, yet kind of metallic. It's got a lot going on in it, but it dries down to this really fresh, almost slightly woody fragrance. It smells like something that a pretty boy would wear. That's the best description I could give for it. I really enjoy this. This is something that you should grab if you're tired of the humdrum of the niche fragrances that try to be designer. This is somewhere in the middle. This is a little more, this is a little less basic than your average niche fragrance that's trying to be a designer, and much more sophisticated and well put together than a designer fragrance or your average designer fragrance. From Perfumology.com and from the house of Goldfield and Banks, Bohemian Lime. Next up is a fresh classic staple, in my opinion. This is a more mature, more suave, more adult-like version of what you would get out of a Versace Pour Homme or a Mano Fresh or a Sauvage. This is something that more of an older guy, maybe in their late 30s, early 40s would wear. I'm 35, I'm getting there. Anyway, from the house of Guerlain, we have Guerlain Homme, Eau de Parfum. As you can see, I've got the small, new school Listerine-like bottle. This one right here is going to give you a fresh blast right out the opening. This is almost like what you would get if you take what you get from Burberry Touch. Yes, it's lavender, this is not, but if you took that and you added that to like a Versace Pour Homme vibe, a Dior Sauvage, Dylan Blue, newer, fresh blue fragrance, and you melded those worlds together and you took the best of those worlds and put it in one bottle, that's what you get right here. This is something that is easily wearable. A lot of times it's overlooked for, I think it's L'Eau Boissée or Eau de Boissée. It's overlooked for all the other Guerlain fragrances. This is the one that is the main guy from the line of the Guerlain Homme line. I mean, this is the one that you should definitely check out. It's cheap, inexpensive, and it comes in this dainty little bottle, as you can see. Go check it out. Smell these. It'll be fun since you can't really go out and smell a whole lot in stores yet, and if you can, it's like, playing with your life. But anyway, from the house of Guerlain, Guerlain Homme. Another one that I've been wearing a lot of is one that was sent to me for review, but due to the circumstances that I've been going through, I have not had a chance to. From the house of Cremo. Yes, Cremo, the men's grooming and fragrance line, apparently. The fragrance is Iced Citron and Driftwood. This is gonna give you the same kind of vibes that you would get from maybe like a Dior Homme Cologne or Jimmy Choo Man Ice, something like that. You're gonna get that ice lemonade kind of vibe. This is a much cheaper alternative. The bottle isn't half bad. I mean, it's got a cool little aesthetic to it. I don't really care for the cap. It's really flimsy and crappy. But other than that, the bottle is really good and the fragrance smells great. Now, it's an eau de toilette, and I will say that from the wearings that I've worn, it doesn't last forever, but at the price that it costs, it's worth every penny in my opinion. It's pretty readily available at places like Target or Walmart or places like that, but I don't have access to them where I'm at, where I live. Every Target I've been to or any place that would maybe sell this doesn't sell the fragrances. They sell the body washes and the grooming things and the oils and the beard scrub, which I use, but they don't sell the fragrances. So if they do sell them where you're at, or you can get them online, you should definitely check out the Cremo line and check out Ice Citron and Driftwood. Another one I picked up literally right before the lockdown happened, and this is a discontinued gem. It is a flanker of a line that one of my favorite fragrances is also a flanker of, which is Givenchy Play Intense. This fragrance is Givenchy Play Sport. Now I will say this does not smell anything like a sport fragrance. This smells very, very clean, very laid back. This is very subtle. Think like CK1, think like anything that's musk driven, something that's really light and that's just an easy grab, Burberry touch. This is just clean. This is something you wear for like a dumb reach. I'm sure that's probably why it got discontinued. The other fragrances in the line are much more bolder, much more eccentric, much more attention grabbing. And the name Sport, I don't really think it lends to what this fragrance does. This is something that I added mainly because it was discontinued, mainly because I bought a partial of it and I got a ridiculously cheap price on it. And to be completely honest with you, I just really like the play line, and it's fun to wear. If you're looking into discontinued fragrances and you're a collector and you want something that's very, very clean, very laid back, that doesn't have a whole lot going on and is a little different than the average clean fragrance, go ahead and check out Givenchy Play Sport. This next one is often referred to as a woman's fragrance. It looks like a woman's fragrance, kind of smells like a woman's fragrance, but I definitely think it can be pulled off by a mature and sure of himself man from a growing house in popularity, a house that seems to be climbing up the fragrance ladder, if you will, in the niche world. The house is BDK and the fragrance is Rouge Smoking. This is a fragrance that was suggested to me by the lovely Miss Eva from the channel Fragrance Test Tube. She said this is one of her favorite fragrances. It's amazing, it's beautiful, it's all of these great adjectives, and I decided I had to smell it, and I have to tell you that, oh my God, that's good. It's got this very distinct and original smell to it. It's got this very floral base. It's very strong, it's very potent, and it almost has, and it's gonna sound weird, a clay-like, almost Play-Doh-like smell to it, but it's a creamy kind of smell, and at the same time kind of dry. So think dry floral with a creamy nature that almost smells like Play-Doh. I know that sounds weird, but once you get that smell all together, it really, really blends well. And when it dries down, it gets a little more dusty, a little more manly, if you will. And those floral notes tend to be a little more bright, but yet a little more manly, a little more, you know, metrosexual, if you will. And I think that this is something that if you're sure of yourself, you should definitely check out. They do have a lot of great fragrances in their line. One that I'm very eager to get my hands on is called, I think it's Creme de Cuir, which I think means cream of leather. It's really, really awesome. I've got a sample of it. I wore it. I went to like Buffalo Wild Wings and ate outside. And the lady who came service kept coming back and forth and going, I just gotta ask you, what kind of, you know, cologne are you wearing? I said, oh, well, the fragrance is called blah, 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 blah. And she looked like I had just spoke Armenian or something. Like she didn't know what I was talking about, but it was awesome because I knew that I was original. I knew that nobody else in the room was gonna smell like me. No one else on the block was gonna smell like me. Heck, maybe even the state. And that's what you're gonna get with this. This is something that if you're a woman, you will smell super sexy with. And if you're a man and you're sure of yourself, you're gonna smell very, very different and unique. And in my opinion, when it comes to guys, we don't have a lot of things we can do to make ourselves stand out. And this is something that can do it. So go ahead and check out the house of BDK. But more importantly, go ahead and check out Rouge Smoking. Another one that I've been rocking is from the house of Versace, my favorite fragrance house of all time. I'm sure many of you have heard me ramble about it. This is one that I will guarantee wear all fall, all autumn, into the winter. I wear it any time of the year, but I'll heavily wear it this time of the year. A discontinued gem that should not have been discontinued, a fragrance that should be owned by every fragrance head, in my opinion. From the house of Versace, Versace Man. This is a predecessor to Man Fresh. No, they smell nothing alike. This is more like an old school powerhouse fragrance, modernized. It's got the freshness of the newer fragrances of when this came out, but it still has that leathery, tobacco-y, man's man, beat on your chest kind of fragrance notes to it. This is something that you would want to wear if you're a man. This is not a boy's fragrance. This is not a 18 to 25-year-old fragrance, in my opinion. This is something that a man wears, and this is something that I think you would easily appreciate if you're into fragrance. I think that it's worth every penny. I don't know what it goes for. I'm sure it'll be like $50 to $80 or something like that on eBay or some fragrance group, and it's gonna only go up. So I think you should get your hands on this. It's one of the only bottles that I have a backup bottle for because I don't wanna ever risk losing this guy. Anyway, enough rambling. I'm sure you've heard of this before, and if you haven't, go check it out. From the house of Versace, Versace Man. Last but not least is a fragrance that I got as a recommendation through a bunch of videos, one of which was Ashton's at Scentsense. He said that this was a great alternative to Dior Homme Cologne. And at the time I couldn't get my hands on a bottle of Dior Homme Cologne, which I recently got one, so it's great. But having said that, this one is not the same. It's not a whole lot like Dior Homme Cologne, but it's definitely a great alternative, and I'll agree on that. The bottle is pretty, it smells pretty and clean, and the sprayer is great. It's a lot of great things to like about it. From the house of Jimmy Choo Man Ice. Yes, it is 100 milliliter, but that's because it was only $2 and some change more than the 50 milliliter bottle. And at that price difference, no, I'm not going to get the smaller bottle. If it's more than $8, $8, $10, $15, $20 difference, I always get the smaller bottle. But just check out this sprayer, and it's just fine mist. Look at that. And I mean, you can control it. I mean, that's really cool. And if you want to get that big mist, man, that's just really, really good, man. It's got that citron effect. It's got that real icy lemonade kind of vibe. This is something you definitely can't wear anytime soon unless you live in like Miami or in a southern area with a hot climate. This is something that would be perfect for today here in South Louisiana. It's somewhere in the mid 70s. It would definitely work for that kind of occasion. Think picnic, think, you know, picnic table, barbecue, wanting to smell fresh and clean. This would definitely work. This is something that I think is perfect for wearing in like a get-together when you're inside the house and you just want to smell pleasant and welcoming. This is just, it's ice lemonade in a spray bottle. I mean, it's just really, really good. This is a little more muskier. This is a little more dirtier than Dior Homme Cologne. This is Dior Homme Cologne with a little more oomph to it. But I do like the Dior Homme Cologne DNA because I feel like it's a little more refined and clean. So they definitely both have a place, but this one is ridiculously cheap. You can buy this on pretty much any discounter for cheap. If you're looking for an alternative to Dior Homme Cologne because you're tight on the pocketbook, it is 2020, it is COVID time, you probably burned through your whole stimulus check, you should go check out Jimmy Choo Man Ice. Alright guys, that about does it for me. That wraps up one of my very first videos on my comeback trail. I thank you so much for stopping by. If you've made it to this point of the video, as always, do consider subscribing, and while you're at it, click the notification bell. That way when my videos come out, you will be the first to know. I know it's been a while since I've been gone, and again, I thank y'all so much for coming and watching these videos. It does mean a lot that you're still watching if you are watching, and to you new people, welcome aboard. I hope you enjoy. And as always, and most importantly, I'll smell you later. Peace.